Hey everybody, welcome back to my Crafting Paradise Let's Play series. This is episode 11, and I am above the clouds. Look at that. I flew up here real quick to show you guys overhead view of what has changed. The tree farm right there I removed completely and rebuilt it over there. And I redid all the animal pens. And just to give you a quick idea why I moved everything, I have to turn on chunk boundaries. The sheep farm is in a chunk. The cows are in a chunk. Pigs and chickens are in a chunk. Lava production is in a chunk. And the tree farm is in a separate chunk. So they're all separated, which I wanted to do to make sure it doesn't cause any unnecessary lag issues and not to have too many entities in a chunk so nothing can despawn. Okay. The barrels I moved into the workshop, and we still have plenty of eggs, so I'm not automating this anymore. And I don't need to breed any animals anymore in here because I keep having chickens and cows and everything spawn on this island. We have so much grass, so I just keep killing them to keep feathers and leathers and so on stocked, which works out really nice. So now let's take a look underneath. There's 2 sewers underneath the sheeps and 4 underneath the cows. And each one of them has an iron upgrade, increases radius by 2. Now sewers by default are only a 1 block. They're not like the other MFR machine. So when you increase by 2, that's these 2. Now each one of them handles a 5x5. And every one of them has a liquid transfer node. For the sewage, I have 4 speed upgrades in those 6 nodes to make sure that nothing can back up. Now that sewage all comes into these composts. I don't have a tank in between or anything because I don't make enough sewage for these composters to ever fill up. But I wanted to make sure we produce enough industrial fertilizer to keep that tree farm going 24/7 at full speed. It seems to work out nicely. Now you see this extra tank here. We got this tank from a quest, so I just reused it. And I put in 1 bucket of mob acid. And that is for when you breed animals on top and there's XP balls, those sewers seem to suck up the XP balls. And then instead of sewage, you have mob essence in here. Well, if this happens a couple of times, then your entire system is backed up because it doesn't know where to put mob essence. There's no place to put it. So just as a safety precaution, I put this tank here and I emptied it. These I just broke when I first found it, so I lost that mob essence, but it doesn't matter. And I just put 1 bucket in here from our big tank at the Blaze farm. So the pipe knows, hey, put it here, otherwise, it would put sewage in. I added 2 more dynamos, the other 2 in the energy cell we had from the old tree farm, to make sure everything here can get going 24/7. And it does. And we're producing more than enough lava, so nothing should ever stop running because we're running out of power. So the industrial fertilizer goes into this ender chest, which is always empty. I just didn't want to run a pipe over there because there's already so many pipes. And it goes up here. That's where that ender chest is, and it gets just pumped into that fertilizer from MFR. I'll show you guys the upstairs in a second. This is the output chest from the harvester. And I put a stack upgrade and 4 speed upgrades in it because this thing is producing so much wood. This barrel is always full, so most of the wood actually gets voided now because I don't use enough over in the factory where we produce charcoal with it. But I wanted to show you guys how I set this up here. You see this tuning fork? When you equip it, you see what upgrades you have on barrels. Tuning fork is made with 3 iron and an ender pearl, and is also from the Java mod. So I put 2 upgrades on these and a void upgrade. So if they ever get full, like, we got enough saplings for lifetime. So once this gets full, I just want it voided, and the same with the apples. And this one has a third upgrade. The golden one. Because I needed that in order to apply a bee space upgrade. Now what that pretty much makes out of a barrel is it makes it like an ender barrel. One barrel is here and the other one is in the factory over there with the same upgrades, and they have the same inventory. So if you put something in here, you can pull it out on the other one and vice versa. So now I have access to this wood over in the factory. And I did not want to go with an ender chest because I cannot void anything going into the ender chest. So now the problem was that if I had an ender chest here and that's full with wood, and up here in the node you have wood, well, it cannot send it out because the chest is full. And then the chest up here would fill with apples and saplings and so on, and they couldn't go anywhere. And then after a while, this chest was full. So it backed up the system. Just didn't run smoothly. And then I remembered that you can make these barrel upgrades, these bee space, and they work really nice. How you set this up is you place down the barrel and the barrel over there. And they both need to have the exact same upgrades and need to be tied together before you put in the first item. So, you put the wooden upgrade, the iron upgrade, and the gold upgrade, bee space upgrade, and void upgrade in both of them. And then on the first barrel, you shift right click with the tuning fork. And then it tells you this one has been attuned, something like that. Then you go to the other barrel and shift right click to close the circuit, and then it tells you pretty much these two barrels are now bound together. And then you can connect the pipe on here, and as soon as the wood starts going in, it's available on the other side. So, sewage production, industrial fertilizer, wood, apples and saplings, none over here should ever run out of power. And I'm making enough of everything to have as much charcoal as we can ever need. And nothing can ever back up or overflow. I thought that was really important because if you have ever used a high pressure railcraft boiler to make steam, they take quite a long time to heat up, and then they need about 1 charcoal every 2.5 seconds. They need a lot of charcoal, so you gotta have a good production, and this is the kind of production I like for it. And when they run out of charcoal and that cools down, it's gonna take a few thousand charcoal again to heat up. And during that time, you're not producing any power. Okay. There's no upgrade in the harvester, or in the planter, or in the fertilizer. And you see just the fertilizer going in here every once in a while. So I always have trees going here. It's constantly chopping wood. And so that works really nice here. I'm trying to speak as fast as I can, guys, because it's not very exciting, but I needed to show you guys the setup so you know why we're doing it and how it works. Alright, let's go in the factory real quick to show you the second part, and then we start doing blood magic. So here I added 3 redstone furnaces, and here's that other barrel. You see it has the same 3 upgrades, void and bee space. And this symbol here I didn't explain yet where, and it's like an arrow pointing to the right. That means that the barrels are bound together. If you just put this bee space upgrade in it, you don't have that until you shift right click both barrels with the fork, and then you see this symbol, and then you know, okay, they're linked together. And these guys are just always full of wood. There's no upgrade needed in this one. It's because it's right here. And I made some deep storage units. And you see we're already up to 4,200 charcoal. And I wanted a deep storage unit. I didn't want to upgrade a barrel to high heavens and then void that stuff to... If we ever happen to get to 2 billion charcoal, then I think we beat the game. So, I made deep storage units. They are super cheap to make. They don't even need Enderium, nothing. I think I would have made them a lot earlier. So it takes 5 Ender Pearl. Machine block is dirt cheap to make. You always get 3 if you remember. So 5 Ender Pearls, 2 Blaze Powders, 1 Factory, and 3 Plastic Sheets. That's it. You get 4 of them. So we still have 3 left over in the chest. And once these guys get up to close to like 60 stacks or something, instead of upgrading these barrels, I might just place some deep storage units here, or like I already voided this barrel, and the flint. We're never gonna need more than 64 stacks of flint, so I'm voiding the rest now. And kept on top of the steel, so we have 2 stacks of steel waiting for the pressure boilers. Okay guys, so now you know how we make all the charcoal, the system. If you have any questions, please reply in the video if you have any questions, if you don't understand something. But I did not want to set us up on camera because this would have been an entire episode and then some. This was a lot of work setting that up. Okay, and now I'm gonna pick up the stuff and we're gonna start upgrading the blood magic altar. Have some fun with that. So this is where we left off yesterday with blood magic altar tier 1. That's just when you place it down. Cut myself many times to make a weak blood orb. And now I want to upgrade it to a tier 2 so we can make the next orb and start making better slates to make better runes to get to a tier 3. But what we're going to do now is place these 4 efficiency runes. They are deprecated in newer version, but I've always liked them very much, especially in the beginning, because this altar can only hold 10,000 LP. Now let's say you need to make something that costs 30,000 LP. You drop the item in there and you cannot cut yourself fast enough, or you don't have mobs spawn fast enough to sacrifice, then you start getting the gray particles and you actually lose progress. If you have 4 efficiency runes, you don't lose any progress. So you could let this sit for a while even with gray particles and you don't lose any progress. So it actually saves you a lot of time. And once we have automatic stream of LP coming in, then I'm gonna replace those again with something else. Okay, but for now, they're really nice to have. Unfortunately, you can't make them. So if you play this mod pack, just take them as a reward. And have 1,600 now. 5,000. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and... Well, actually, we can do this now. I dropped the emerald in there and cut myself as much as it takes to make this a next orb. Okay, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so you see I built this little platform above the altar. There's a block ready here. And we're gonna place the pig spawner on. I figured we don't have any other use for this pig spawner. So I'm gonna try it here. I've never used pigs before. I don't know how much LP they're gonna give us. But in order to do that, we need to make a dagger of sacrifice, which is an iron sword with 3,000 and a tier 2. I'm gonna put that in there. Have plenty in there. And what that allows you to do when you kill anything that is standing on top of this altar, mobs, hostile, neutral, villagers, for example, are the best. Villagers give you 2,000 LP. So if you get a villager spawner and you want to do it by hand, it's by far the best possible. And that is without any runes of sacrifice. Runes of sacrifice get even more. Right. So now we got this dagger of sacrifice. And let's place this pig spawner and see what happens. That's gonna be efficient or not. Alright. Even spawn. So I've been waiting here for about 20 minutes now. I removed all the conveyor belts again to see if that makes any difference. I am very sure that light doesn't matter for a pig spawner. But I can't get any, not a single pig has spawned. Fly away a little bit. So I might have to do this the regular way of making this a cursed earth farm, having them naturally drop down in the middle. Because you can't place the conveyor belts on cursed earth because then nothing will spawn. Might be able to try out some block fans or something, but really not worth it because as soon as we have a well of sacrifice, we're gonna make some wishes. So I'm gonna doctor around with this and try to figure out how we can get some mobs to spawn and drop down in that hole. Gonna destroy this pig spawner. Don't really care if we have it. I don't see any reason to keep that. Okay guys, I'm gonna doctor around with that and I'll be back. So guys, it's been about a day and a half in real life since I last recorded with the pigs. The spawner that did. I've been trying out all kinds of different setups. With a cursed earth farm on top. First it got stuffed with spiders. Then I set it up with half slabs in a checkerboard form that stops spiders from spawning. But then I had problems with the zombies and the skeletons get pushed down. And I'm like, okay, I've had it. You need villagers. Well, you see I got armor on because I died twice. Once fighting to angry zombie just one-shot me. I was only wearing the jetpack. And the second time because I was fixing some stuffed pipe over in the smeltery factory. And I poured molten nickel over myself like a noob. So I died to that too. Now we're down to 7 lives. And then I said, alright, I'm gonna make myself armor because again, I had so many levels. Because I built this over here next to the peeps. The manual cursed earth farm. Because I want a zombie villager. And just to show you guys real quick, when you turn this off, see it's all red X's on the end. Half slabs, so that blocks all the light. And I killed over here for, yeah, probably hours. Because I wanted a zombie villager, try to capture it, and make a villager out of it for our blood altar. Well, time went by. I got so frustrated, by the way, after many hours that I needed to take a break, so I built this building over here where we're gonna put in the steam turbine setup tomorrow, so that is prepared. Show you guys all the things that I farmed hours. I even got a soul shard up to tier 2 zombies, and I filled all 6 of our wands with the other 3 aspects. If you have ever done that manually in a farm like this, you know how long Ordo takes. So the other 5 aspects fills up very fast, but Ordo is very rare to get from the mobs. And to fill 6 wands with that, that tells you how much killing I did. I chanted a bow, and used a little bit of it. It's a really nice enchant. We got lucky with that one. Because I found a way now, finally, that I think we can get a villager. So I remember seeing the witch's hut when we, just looking up what the name is, at the sludge pit. In the first biome showcase episode that I put out, you guys see where we discovered this witch's hut. And I read on the wiki that witches spawn in there at night, supposedly. Well, it's been a few night cycles. I never had a witch spawn. But I found villager zombies on the island. And I was so happy. So we have a So we have a Safari Net reusable that's just 4 ender pearls and a gas tier. So I made one of them, and when it turns night, we're gonna go down there and see if we find any more villager zombies. Capture one, bring it up here, turn it into a villager, and then we're gonna use a setup over here that I put up a while ago to spawn villagers so we can easily make all the items we need for blood magic. And also, we need a villager later on, make witches out of them. I'll show you guys how to do that with the X-Nihil away. So once we have a well of sacrifice up on the blood altar, we can just put the witches in there, and then we never need to worry about killing mobs altar again. So I'm gonna wait until it turns night, and then we go down there and see if we can find one of these zombie villagers. Okay, on the setting, a lot of mobs. I found there was 2 over here actually. There's one. You guys see him with the brown robes? Now we just have to kill this guy. Everything else, I mean. Not that good with a bow, so if I miss a lot, guys, sorry. Get in my pocket. Yay, we got him. Alright, I'm gonna fly up here and I'm gonna check one more time on the witch. Maybe now that I'm recording, it's gonna... I don't know if you guys have any idea why this... On the wiki it clearly says that witches spawn all over the overworld in light level 7 and below. Or in witches' huts. And I never had them... I didn't have a single witch spawn. I don't know if there's another trick. If you guys know any, let me know. Okay, and I'm gonna prepare the potions and the golden apple so we can make a villager out of this zombie and capture it. I thought I'd show you guys how to make these potions. You haven't made them, so you make the awkward potions like always. Everything starts with those. Then a fermented spider eye. There's mushroom, spider eye, and sugar. Once that is done, I'm gonna make it the second tier, whatever you want to call that. That's the regular week. One for 4 minutes by adding a redstone. That makes it more potent if you... I don't know if a glowstone would work too. I thought that... Oh yeah, redstone increases the time. Glowstone increases the potency. So you can make an instant health 2 with the glowstone. So now we got a potion of weakness, and whenever you have any of these potions and you add a gunpowder, then you make a splash potion out of that. And I already made the golden apple, which is just an apple and 8 gold ingots. So I prepared this area over here with a roof over it, so during the day that zombie doesn't burn up. Place him in here. And I've never done this, so this is a first for me. Throw a splash guy. Yeah, now he has those gray particle effects. And now if you feed an apple, golden apple to him. Cool. Now he has these red particles. I read that on the wiki, that's what's supposed to happen. And now you just give it time for him to turn into a villager. Hey, it happened. It took a long time. I would say at least 5-6 minutes at least. Now we got a villager. trade. 29 paper for an emerald. And to pick them up, because you can't just right click, you need to shift right click with the Safari Net. And we got a villager. That feels awesome. Because now our blood magic is going to be so much easier. And we can make witches. So let me show you guys what I prepared up here. This is only temporary. Okay? We only need this until let's say I'm going to leave it until we're done with setting up the Well of Suffering and so on. And then we're gonna take this down again and actually build a nice little auto spawner over here next to the tank. And I think that time comes, we're gonna switch to Tesseracts, because I want to set up a grinder, slaughterhouse, and a rancher, and then start collecting a lot of Safari Nets. So if we need something, we can just spawn them on demand. For example, wither skeleton, cows for leather. So I don't need to mess with those cows or whatever spawns around here, and other items. But we'll get to that. So now is put the villager in here, and I'm gonna set it to spawn except copy no. Because I want to get different villagers so I can check them out before I kill them to see if maybe there's some cool trait that, like a sapling for fancy tree or whatever. And so you turn that on. Happens up here. And there we go. There's the first one, second one. And it's slowing down because this magmatic can't quite fast. Wow. Even with one magmatic. Ah, because the magmatic has internal charge. Okay, well that's good enough for now. That's a lot of them. And I'm going to turn off the sound. I'm sorry. They talk a lot. So now, show you guys altar. There's 6260. When I use the stagger of sacrifice on one of them, we have 8260. We get 2000 LP from one village, which makes it super nice to make all the slates and stuff. So what we're going after now is, how many do we need again? 20. I'm gonna get 20 runes of sacrifice, which are these guys right here. So we're gonna need 40 reinforced slates. And how you make those? You put in a stone. Then after a few seconds, it costs 1000 LP. This will turn into a regular slate. And then when you click with an empty hand on it, you take it out. And then you put it back in, and another 2000 LP, and it turns into a reinforced slate. Now you don't need to take them out. If you just let it sit, after a few seconds, it will kick in again and automatically make a reinforced. And you can also use a hopper to put in multiples of these at one time. Okay? But I don't like doing that until we have an automatic supply of LP going in here, because it's just that way I can walk away and then a stack is done after a short amount of time. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare. I keep sitting here until I have the 40 slates, and then we make the runes and set up and get to a tier 3. So I finished getting 40 reinforced slates and gold and the stone. This is going to give us the 20 rune sacrifice that we need to get to the next level of altar, to the tier 3. But this was very slow making these. So I decided I'm going to make 4 speed to help speed this up. How that works is, I think every speed rune increases, but does it stay? Well, we'll see in a second. I think by 20% or something like that. And doesn't say. I think it's 20%. So you don't want to have too many of these because you can't keep up putting blood into. And we need one gold block because that one is for the next Vision's Blood Orb. Have it at tier 3. We need to make that one. Over here and change it out. I added 2 sound mufflers and I took down the 2 blocks down here because these villagers out. I like having this symmetrical. And you can change out these runes and stuff whenever you want. You don't lose any progress or anything. I think the only one that's gonna hurt is if you take out something like Rune of Augmentation. So if you have increased life pool storage, say you can store up to 15,000 and you break those runes, I'm gonna guess, I never paid attention, that you will then only have 10,000 left once you put them back, because that's how much you can by default. But don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. Like I said, I never paid attention to that. Alright. Last ones. Now if we check the altar, it's gonna show us tier 3. Now don't forget, you don't only just place these runes, you also need to have the 2 high solid blocks here in the corners with a glowstone block on top. This needs to be glowstone. If we don't have them, test it. Yeah, it's only a tier 2. So you need to have corner blocks there. So now to get to the next tier, we need to make all these slates around it. But I don't think that we can fit that in this episode, guys. Now, I know that this episode was terrible. I'm really not happy about it. I mixed up too many mod packs and so on. But I'm again trying to do better next episode. Next episode, what we're gonna do is get to the tier 4 of this altar. I'm gonna prepare all the runes in between, so there you guys seen how to do that now. And then we're gonna upgrade this to a tier 4. Actually, one thing here. Start this guy. And once we get to tier 4, then we can make the next size orb, and then we can make this. Where is it? Here we go. The Sigil of the Dome. And that whole, see how fast that drains now? Also, you see I killed 3 and we got about 8,000 essence. That is because of these runes of sacrifice. So now I need a lot less villagers and it drains it so much faster. Again, I get sidetracked and this just fitting with this episode. I'm so sorry, guys. So next episode, we're gonna make the sigil so we can go to the nether and get the firestone. And we're gonna build the boiler and the turbines and then an MFSU and charge that Lapatron crystal. So we can finish this first quest page in the quest book so we can then finally see what's going on in these. Because I've never unlocked them, I don't know what's going on. Turn in this one quest here. And of this augment. I'm gonna take these because I am gonna put them in the next string. This one here is, so if you want to store LP out of the network in tanks or in an ME system, we don't even have fluid. So in tanks, for example, you can export and import faster to your blood altar. I don't ever use that, but the root of augmented capacity is nice, so I'm gonna take that. Take a peek in this bag. Get an orchard. Okay. Alright, so guys, I'm really sorry for this episode. It's definitely not worth a thumbs up, so I'm not even gonna ask for it. But if you enjoy the series, please go ahead and subscribe so you stay up to date on my newest videos. And next episode is gonna be a change. I'm gonna record more and then edit better instead of preparing everything and then trying to record everything in fittings. Turned out horrible in this one. Alright guys, till next episode. Take care.